Let's get back to our conversation about the call for state police and our concluding moments. Let's talk about some practical examples and hear the solutions that, gentlemen, you proffer.
Right, yes.
For instance, if I could bring this in, let me direct it to Mr. Hanya, because there are those who are suggesting if we had state police at the moment, the situation in Benue, for instance, would it not have been tackled? Wouldn't the police force there have been able to enforce the state law, which is what the state is chiefly asking that the federal government ensure that it is enforced, because they control the police force?
Chamberlain, the Benue issue, if you had the deputy governor, it has gone out of herdsmen farmers clash. Do you know the last incident in Benue? Ikpayango. It's about 10 kilometers to Makodi. You deviate left, you enter into the rural area. The place they went to kill a reverend father and some worshippers. For you to escape after killing from that area, you will travel not less than 100 kilometers. If you want to take Ikpayango Makodi Road, it will take you to get to Nasarawa, it will take you not less than 100 kilometers. If you want to take Aliede to Boko, to Ukari, it will take you not less than 200 kilometers. That thing happened in the center of Benue State. The information they came with pickup with army uniform. There is no cattle within that area as at that time. It's that Fulani investment clash. There are armed gangmen. Nobody knows their type now because they have not arrested anyone.
So will state police not be able to enforce the law?
That is not state police enforcing the law. As I told you in Benue, I worked as DC welfare in force headquarters. I was in charge of all rank and files. Benue State Police, the problem is you give them the right equipment, they will stay in the bush for some time. You see, these people come and strike in isolated hamlets within Benue State, not in urban centers. These hamlets are scattered in Benue State. So you need policemen to be stationed there. Gather information with vigilante group. One day, they may be lucky, the gangmen may be coming, they finish them. I did this thing between Okene and Lokoja. I never used the Ibera people. I used a Nigerian Fulani man called Hassa to fight the Fulanis that were coming out in the bush to strike. I was posted there within 2 months. I cleared them. Are you getting my point? Before you ask a policeman to enter the bush, you must train him, whether it's state police or federal police. You must train him how to enter the bush. You must give him the requisite tool, night vision, Google, armored this thing. If not, the self-preservation, whether it's state police or national police, is there.
So if funding is a challenge, if the federal government is finding it difficult to fund the police as necessary, if the states feel we can handle this, shouldn't they be allowed to create it?
Well, that is a constitutional matter. They can allow them. But I'm telling you, a state government that cannot pay teacher, once you cannot pay Nigerian policemen, you have created too many armed robbers. Because the federal police now, the mindset of some of our police officers, we have very good police officers, we have very bad ones. There are police officers, if you put money on top of high tension wire, they will use isolated stick to bring it down. There are those ones, I can tell you, there are a corporal who served under me. In first quarter, I was going on transfer. He said he wanted to go to highway patrol. I posted him to highway patrol. He called me on phone. He said, sir, the thing they are doing on the road, I don't like it. I want to come out. We have good police officers. The issue is the Nigerian citizen itself. It's not state police or national police. I'm still telling you, this Fulani herdsmen people are talking. We have a gang of armed men going around the country, particularly in the north. Do you know why cattle herdsmen were armed before? To check wild animal and cattle rustlers.
Were they allowed to carry AK-47?
No. Do you know when AK-47 started? Like the president is saying. In Makodi one time, a lorry that was carrying fish from Chad, somebody gave me information. We got the lorry offloaded it. We saw AK-47 inside the sack. It is not from Nigeria. Our borders are porous. Our borders are porous. So what we are saying is that It is not state police. There are things we should do in our organizations. Immigration, custom, police. But one thing is preventing us from doing it, and that is corruption.
Okay. We'll come to you in a minute. I need to go to Abuja. Nelta has got a question for you. Nelta.
Thank you very much, Chamberlain. Mr. Akanya, from your submissions, it's very clear that you're not in support of state police in any form whatsoever. But my question is, are you pleased with the current state of the Nigeria police?
Thank you very much. I'm not pleased with the current state of Nigerian police, because when I joined the police force in 1975 as a cadet inspector, if you come to police college, you see him as a higher institution. You see him where they train quality manpower. But as of today, if you cannot train quality manpower, how do you expect them to perform? It is not the problem of the IG. It is the problem of the government. It is the problem of the government. I'm not saying I'm not in support of state police, but I know Nigeria will jump into issues. Later, we'll start shouting. We'll start seeing the consequence, the bad side of that issue. Let me give you an example. Babangida created 2 political parties in this country. People were saying it is not democratic. It is this and that. Now we went to multiple parties. Some people are saying we should go back to 2-party system. So Nigerians who don't plan properly. What I am saying, the condition I'm giving for state police, I continue to say it. Because when you talk of true federalism in the United States of America, every American citizen can work anywhere. There is no indigenous or non-indigenous. The condition I'm giving for state police is that first of all, we must remove state of origin in our constitution and put state of residence. So that anybody, any Nigerian can join police in any state you are. If we cannot do that, we can say 60% of policemen in Anambra will be Igbos. The other will be from other states, because I know the consequence. Let me give you an example. If you create state police in Anambra,
we don't have enough time. Let me take this question to Mr. Nwachukwu, since you've answered that part about not being happy with the state of the police. Mr. Nwachukwu, on your part, you're a lawyer, so let's look at the constitutional part of it. In some of the states, we find that they have some sort of state police structure already working. What does the Constitution say specifically about states owning that kind of structure, and what should they do if they want to take it further?
Yes, thank you very much. Like I said, the Constitution says that Nigeria shall have only one single police force. But I've also said that that is a lie, because the same Constitution goes to create several police formations, SSS, NIA, and what have you. All these are police formations. They are all exercising police duties. So the states have seen the gap, the yawning gap in manpower, have created their own security organizations like LASMA, Neighborhood Watch, and what have you. So what I'm saying, when we are calling for state police, we're saying that this thing that is developing, these things that the states are doing, which are found to be essential, not just necessary, essential for the security of the entire Nigeria. We say we should take it further and give the states that legitimacy to have police formations, general duty policemen. They may not be high profile like the federal police, as you have it in America. There are certain crimes that they should not even bother with. Violent crimes, armed robbery, and whatever. Could be for the federal police. But when you are talking about insecurity on the streets, when you're talking about people misbehaving on the street, there should be somebody there to watch. And it is these little pockets of insecurity or criminality that, later become big problems. They could be checked at that level.
Okay, let me ask this, and from the point of law. If, as Mr. Hanya suggested, if you were to create that state police, you could put some caveat, maybe 60% from here, 30 or 20, while you go ahead and suggest you remove the state of origin and put state of residence. Because states, at the moment now, they would argue in some areas, the federal government cannot make law for states. Now, if you were to go ahead and put those laws in place, how should we approach it? Should we allow the states make laws for the police formation there? Or should we put a caveat at some point and say, well, the federal government can make laws in certain respects? How would that work? Because if you say 60% today, what stops the State Assembly from changing it tomorrow?
Yes. It's a very good suggestion from him. And it can be done. Because the general architecture for state police can be found in the Constitution. For instance, the Constitution gives states the right to create local governments, as it were.
But
national, would have to ratify that creation. So you could have such a thing, too, for state police, that you can create your state police, but these are the basic conditions, that you must observe when you create the state police. That can be done. It will be better than what we have at the moment. We need more men out there. That's the point. I drove from my house to this place. I never encountered any policeman. Whereas in other areas, you would see a policeman walking. He's just walking the road. But merely seeing him is enough to detect crime. That's what we're saying. We need more men out there to watch Nigerians.
Well, we're going to have to anchor at this point because you, Mr. Han, you suggest that you're not opposed to the creation of state police, but you're suggesting that we must ensure that certain things are put in place if we go ahead and create them. But you think outrightly, we just need state police. Let's go ahead and put them in place.
The problem, the challenge I'm having with him is that if we stop this thing of opposition to state police and say this thing has to be, how do we have it without costing, bringing up another problem? If we go on that line, it is better.
But where I disagree with him is that when you talk, manpower shortage, there are unemployed youths. There are unemployed youths. When I entered police college, we have squad 1, squad 2, squad 3, squad 4. As they are going, they are training them. Now you see, the thing is not state police. There are unemployed youths. Let's employ them. Let's employ them.
Can we employ them with the current structure?
With the current structure?
Yes.
Look, the structure of Nigerian police, the structure is fine. Very nice structure. Because there is AIGs in the zone, there is area command. Anybody telling you that IG descends on you, give instruction. You are not in the police. IG doesn't give instruction. It's not master servant. Like I told you that time, they say governor say he doesn't control police. It's not master servant relationship. Commissioner of police can tell IG. IG cannot give you unlawful orders. He cannot tell you to go and kill somebody.
That's not correct. Our experience, I'm a lawyer. You go to DPO, you make a complaint, somebody will now go to area commander. When you go to area commander, you that make complaint at the police station, you become suspect. The other person will now go to police, then IGD. That's how it happens.
So when you create state police,
that's what goes on.
When you create state police, when you make complaint,
very disorganized.
They will go to federal. It's not disorganized.
I'm a lawyer. That's what happens. Very disorganized.
It's not disorganized.
Okay, well, both of you have your experiences, and so maybe this is the kind of debate we need to have about that state police at the national level. Yes. Present those challenges, those fears, and let's confront them and see whether or not the pros outweigh the cons or the disadvantages outweigh the advantages. Then we'll decide which way to go. Well, that's a fine place to leave it. We've been speaking with Ibezimako, who is a former commissioner of police for Benue, Ekiti, and Kogi states, as well as Mr. Chuks Nwachukwu, who is a legal practitioner. Gentlemen, thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you.
We'll be back in a moment and turn our attention to a different matter. Don't go away.